So, namaste, good evening.
Namaste, everybody.
Welcome back for the third session of our 10-week Sahaja Yoga Meditation Course.
And many thanks again to the Indian Embassy for making this possible.
Yeah, so I will just do a recap from last week. So, as Udo told us about the Kundalini energy, which is at the core of Sahaja Yoga meditation, we heard that the Kundalini is a motherly energy that has the capacity to relieve our energy centers or the chakras from any kind of tensions or blockages. When the Kundalini rises above the sixth center, we enter the state of meditation. We come up to the seventh center, and our thoughts get reduced, our mind become clearer. We also learned about the foot soak technique, which is a very simple way of clearing the chakras of blockages and making it easier for the Kundalini energy to rise. So I hope you have felt the effect of foot soak at home and also tried to meditate and felt the bliss.
This week, we will learn more about the subtle system. We will learn about the three channels you have seen on our chart. The left channel of desire, the right channel of action, and the center channel of evolution and presence. We will learn about the function of these channels, how they help us operate in daily worldly life, but also spiritually. We will learn about how to achieve more balance. And we'll also learn about how these channels correspond with our physical autonomous nervous system.
And this is why we are really lucky to have Dr. Engelbert here today, and who is a medical doctor and also one of the first Sahaja Yogi in Austria. And we are really thankful that you are joining us today.
Thank you
Welcome.
so much. I'm also
Engelbert.
lucky to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, as someone mentioned, you are one of the first people to join Sahaja Yoga in Austria. How did you come? How was it at that time?
First of all, it's quite a little while ago. It was in September 1982, and Sri Mataji gave a series of 4 programs, and I think I joined at the 3rd program. So technically, I'm not the very first, but I was quite early. Yeah. So it was, I would say, an experience which touched me very deep inside. Not so much from the external point. I did not feel, for instance, the vibration so directly and so strong in the beginning, but the personality of Sri Mataji and her appearance and the way she spoke, that really, I would say, it struck a chord in my heart, which ever since is resounding. Being a lover of music, I would say this is the main experience and the main connection I got from these early days.
Very nice. So as you are a medical doctor and you are practicing Sahaja Yoga since long time, can you relate a little bit the subtle system of Sahaja Yoga with the medical point of view?
Yeah, I would say it is a nice thing to be a doctor in Sahaja Yoga, because automatically you have some background of the physical body and especially of the nervous system.
Yeah.
But not only, there are the glands, and there are the subtler parts of the nervous system. There's the hormone system. All this, I would say, more subtler parts of the human body, they correspond very well with the so-called subtle system within us. And I would say, as the body is already so complex and so amazingly designed by our creator, even more so the subtle system. We relate to the subtle system in Sahaja Yoga in a very simplified way. We speak about 3 channels and 7 chakras, but actually in if we look, and maybe in the course of the video we can do that, if we look more in depth, we'll find out that it's a very complex, beautiful system which we can discover over time.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we can lead into the topic with this input and explore that more deeply.
Yeah.
And for that, I will display the chakra chart, which we use to convey our subtle system. And maybe some of you can help us understand a bit more about the left side, the left channel.
Okay, the left side, and then, yeah, the left channel is also called as Iranari or Chandramanari, or the channel of the moon, is the channel of desire. It is the blue channel, what you see in the chakra chart. And you can see the blue channel, which is starting from the first energy center, the chakra, and then it going upwards on the left side and going up, crossing the fifth. And when it's come to the sixth, it makes a cross. It goes on the other side and it forms a balloon-like structure on the right side of the brain. And it's called the superego then there. Yeah. And it is the left sympathetic nervous system, and it relates to our past. And some of the qualities are like our desires, our feeling, our emotions are all awakened because of this nadi, because of this channel. Affection, love, care, politeness, sweetness are some of the qualities of this channel. Because of this channel, we feel joyful and happy. Ladies are more naturally on left side, and it's the channel of past, so it is related to our memory. But sometimes we overuse this channel, then problems can come. Yeah, problems of extreme left side, like feeling sad, depressive, lethargic, pessimistic behavior, all causes problems in the left channel. Yeah, if we overuse the left channel, for example, if we always think that we are not happy, means past was happier, present is not so nice, and we are feeling sad about it, and we are going in depression, then we can get in extremes of left channel, and it can be very dangerous. In Sahaja Yoga, we can feel little hot or tingling or burning sensation on our left hand. It means that we are not in balance and we are in left side. But we can improve it by using Sahaja Yoga technique. Yeah. The first thing is that you be not pessimistic, but optimistic. Yeah, you have faith in yourself and you think positive. For example, we can also use the elements, like we can use fire element, like you can see a lamp burning there. So you can put on a candle or a lamp, or you can put your left hand on your lap and right hand on the ground, on Mother Earth. The earth element will clear your left channel. So just put your left hand on the lap and right hand on Mother Earth. Mother Earth absorbs all the imbalances from the left channel and it brings us to balance. So that's about the left channel. So I hand it over to Hans for the right channel.
Okay. So I'll talk a little bit about the right channel. And for that, we'll go back to our the chart we have. And the right channel, also called Pingala Nadi, is the yellow channel that starts in the second chakra. That's the Svadhisthana. It's the chakra of creativity, so of action. And it rises then up in a similar way, parallel, but on the other side to the blue channel, to the Ida Nadi. In the sixth center, in the optic chiasma, and it crosses over to build the ego, or our external identity. Now, where the left channel is desire, the right channel is action. Where the left channel is moon, the right channel is the sun. So it's the yin and the yang, is this duality we need in our everyday life. If we overuse this element of action or thinking, then we can also exhaust the right channel, and we can use up the energy, especially of the second chakra, and it can become exhausted. And that becomes either from overdoing physical exercises to an extreme, or mental exercise. And we can see that we are using the right side too much if we cannot stop thinking, if our mind goes on, if we want to relax, but our mind is still busy. And if we can cool the right side, then our mind becomes much more relaxed, much clearer, and like a lake which is placid, you can see through that lake into the bottom. It's beautiful and clear. That's how your mind becomes when you can free it of the thoughts from that side. Now, how do we balance the right side? With the left side, we use the earth element. With the right side, we would use the air element. So it's kind of the opposites, right? And you put your right hand on the lap with the palm upwards. The reason we put the palm upwards is because we might feel an energy or a force. And put the left hand up to the air like this, facing backwards. And the air is a cooling element. And we can let any excess heat from the right side of our body, from the right channel, be expelled or absorbed into the air through the left hand. So it's a very simple exercise to cool down if you're feeling stressed. But the objective of both these exercises, whether it's using the air for the right channel or the earth for the left, is to come into the center. And maybe Engelbert, you can help us go a step deeper into understanding the center channel.
Yes, the center channel is basically where the left and the right side come together, come into a balance. And in many old drawings and paintings and miniature paintings of the Indian miniature paintings, we see the left and the right not going straight down, but also interwoven and meeting at the center like two snakes moving upward and downward. So that symbolizes that the left and the right side, when they have performed their function of being in balance, they naturally gravitate towards the center, towards the Sushumna Nadi, and here they kind of, like a spiral, you know, they close in first the right side, then the left side, and then in the very middle, in the subtlest line, is the Sushumna Nadi, and within the Sushumna Nadi, there are even subtler nadis in the center, and in the very core is the Brahma Nadi. And when we look at this structure, I would say from an anatomical side, from the side of the nervous system, it is very interesting to see that in the subtle nadi, in the subtlest channel of the Sushumna, of the spinal cord, there is actually liquid. There is a very thin, we could call it a small thin of line of water, which serves in the spiritual ascent as a medium to get the vibrations of the Kundalini. When the Kundalini rises, she sends her vibrations into that water, into that liquor.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, this is not known in the medical science, but it's very much known in the yogic science, which goes back, as you have mentioned,
Mm.
also many times immemorial. The yogis and the rishis discovered all that. And so now, in our modern times, to bring the medicine and the old yogic science together, it's a very interesting thing. We find out many new aspects.
Mhm. Yeah. And how does this central channel relate to meditation?
In I would say it is really the carrier of our attention. You know, in for uh, someone who is a seeker, who is using yoga techniques and who is seeking, uh, the attention is the main thing. And when our attention moves into the center, it quiets down immediately. It becomes balanced. It's not, as Soma has mentioned, it's not overrun by emotions, or it is not, used too much by the thought process or by activity. But both of these qualities combined, they relax, and in the center, they are in balance and in peace. But what I wanted to say also, the point of all these yogic exercises, if I may elaborate
Yeah,
here,
please,
No,
please
absolutely.
carry
Yeah.
on.
It's good.
the point of it, it's not the whole thing is not an exercise by itself, but it has a meaning and it has a purpose. And the purpose of the subtle system is to give us the ability to discover ourselves, to really go into a point where we can experience and feel what we truly are, what is our true nature. And this is a process which is started by the awakening of the Kundalini, and it's an ongoing process for a seeker, for a seeking person. And there are many today who are seeking this last question of our human existence, what we are and why we are here. And that subtle system we are talking about serves as an agent to serves as an agent to make an experience possible through which we gradually, subtler and deeper, get a glimpse of our true nature, which has been called by Sri Mataji the spirit, or it has been called the Atman. And this is the whole purpose of all that which exists and also of all our search.
Right. It's something we mentioned in the first session that Sahaja Yoga is primarily really about self-knowledge.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Self-knowledge, I mean, the name itself implies knowledge which is not academic knowledge, it is not medical knowledge, it's not even knowledge of the yogic sciences, but it is self-knowledge, which is a very natural and experiential knowledge, we could say. It's something that knowledge becomes more an experience.
And I guess going to the left and right side, if the left side is emotion, the right side is thought on that simple level, surely the self, can we grasp the self by emotion or thought? Or isn't it the center channel that we need to actually access the...
I would say, as far as my own experience goes, I'm not such a master myself, but as far as my experience goes, emotion and thought, I would say they serve us in our quest, because when we overdo either one of those, it's basically disturbing. It's we are not really in a state where we can say it's the state of pure enjoyment or of joy of existence, but it is always has some kind of a ripple of disturbance or of unsatisfaction, or driven on the right side, one feels driven and not really rested. But in the center, the thing is that it becomes a delicious state of enjoyment, which I would say, if I may say that, it serves as a jumping board to the divine. And then from enjoyment, actually, it becomes real joy, and it becomes, on top of it, it becomes the experience of love.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
this is what, which is the
Which we all
topic, how
need.
that's what we all need. And it's
Yes.
the love we all love.
Yeah.
And, but we have it too, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's such a friendship inside yoga,
Mm.
which is
Very innate. Very deep.
innate.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a
Yeah.
good word.
I think I'm pretty inspired by what Engelbert was saying, because I'd like to show the diagram again, because he meant, like these channels serve a purpose. And one thing really worth pointing out is that the left channel ends in a little balloon, superego. The right channel ends in a little balloon, the superego. And Engelbert mentioned the connection with the divine. And if you look at the center channel, it does not have a balloon. It ends in a beautiful flower, and it seems like it has no end to it.
Yeah, that reminds me of that when I always liked a picture which I had in mind, when this last center, when the Kundalini energy rises, and she rises in the center, mainly in the center, and then she touches this sixth center, the Agya chakra, and uh, our mind becomes peaceful, and we go into thoughtless awareness. And from here, the last center, it's not actually the last, but in the physical body, the last center, the Sahasrara chakra, it opens and it blooms like a flower, and then it becomes capable to receive the sunlight, the moonlight. There are, I mean, Soma knows that probably much better than me, but there is one lotus in India. It's called a blue lotus or
Yeah.
something, who opens in the night.
Yeah. In the
Is that
moonlight.
true?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
in the moonlight, and it opens, and then it receives the moonlight. And that is really what, speaking of the subtle system, that is the subtle thing which is within us, and it can be felt, and the sunlight can be felt, the moonlight, and the rain and the wind, all the qualities. But beyond that, as we said before also, beyond that is the qualities of the divine Param Chaitanya, Brahma Chaitanya, which when it shines into the Sahasrara, it gives the joy, which Sri Mataji has described as Nirananda, is a joy which is a bliss which is not depending on anything. It's an independent, unconditional joy. And then even above the joy is the love of God, the love of the divine mother and the divine father. And this love is the most fulfilling experience a human being can have. And Sri Mataji actually defines the self as, by nature it is love. So this is where we stand, and I think that's the purpose of this whole subtle system.
Yeah.
Great. So Engelbert, then we'd request you to lead a little meditation and lead us there and show us how
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, what all leads us further is our desire, right? And the desire itself to seek is something given by God. If we are a personality, and if we are a person who is seeking, then it's already a blessing of God. Because there's a saying in India, once you're seeking, your head is already in the mouth of the tiger. You know that saying, because you cannot, there's no escape anymore but to find God, to find the divine. So we can, if we do have this desire within us, that we say, I want to not only quiet my mind, not only, because now in the modern times there's a lot of tendency to use all the so-called mental powers, and even to quiet the mind for the purpose of being more efficient, of working better, earning more money, and all that. This is not the final. This is all right. This is all fine. But for a seeker, it's not enough. The seeker wants to have this last desire answered, the pure desire answered, and this is only possible through an experience. And we can together do a little meditation and go there.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say one, as Hans and Soma have already shown us, some gestures with the hand. I would say for the Shushumna, what we can do is to place our right hand on the Nabi chakra in the center, and we leave the left hand open. And from the palm of our right hand, we can draw a connection back to our spinal cord. And as best as we can, just allow our attention to somehow find this area within our spinal cord, which is named as Sushumna Nadi, the central channel. And it's not sometimes so easy, to move the attention in the body. But actually what happens is that the spinal cord and the centers which are lined up in the spinal cord like pearls, they have their own magnetism, and they actually pull our attention gently inside. They pull the attention till very naturally we find that path. And so we start at the Nabi chakra. The Kundalini, as we have heard, of course, is situated in the sacrum bone, in the sacred bone, and rises upwards from there. But the Sushumna Nadi, the central Nadi, is related and connected with the Nabi chakra. And from here, there's this natural tendency of upward flow. There's an upward flow which has been described throughout the spiritual history, through all the ancient teachings. It's an upward flow in the center of our spinal cord, and the Kundalini moves here. So if we let that flow happen, we can reach the next center if we want, so which is the heart, a little bit higher than the navel center. And the heart, called the Anahata chakra, here has, we could say, a central point in the spinal cord, but also a outside office, so to speak, in our thymus gland, which is a very important gland behind our sternum bone, which produces antibodies, especially in these times now of coronavirus. There's no need to say, and the doctor comes through a little bit here, but no need to say that it can be very beneficial to get this thymus gland activated, to get those specialized T cells, T lymphocytes out in the body. They represent our immune system, and they can work very, very powerful. But in order to activate that, let's not forget that the center of this activity lies in the spinal cord, in the heart center, in the spinal cord, and it has to be enlightened and energized by the upward flow of the Kundalini. And so this is something at home we can meditate on for a little longer. And we can feel the effect of the nerves going forward into the thymus gland and release those antibodies. And Further up, then we come to a center which is called the Shuddhi chakra in the neck. It's also an important center because here the connection to the brain, to the sixth center, to the Agya Chandra starts. But first we have to know that this center can be, even on the very physical outside, very constricted. There can be a pressure on the spinal cord due to strong emotions like guilt, due to stress, due to fear. Lot of daily activities we are involved with put pressure on that Vishuddhi chakra, constrict it and block it in a way. So when we bring the Kundalini energy here, gradually and over time, she releases this area. As we know, she acts like a mother, so she releases this whole area of our neck and finally makes it possible to go through and go through in a larger extent, not only small. As we know, the Kundalini has many strands and sometimes only a few strands can move. But the point is to get more and more of the Kundalini through, so she can really, with all her might and all her gentle nectar flow, really soak our brain. And first of all, we are reaching this center here on the Agya chakra, where the mind gets calm. We can go into a tranquil state and prepare the system for the last experience in the meditation, which is, as mentioned earlier, this opening of the Sahasrara. This is the whole point of this meditation, is to open the last center, which opens like a flower, and receive the divine flow, what is called Param Chaitanya, the consciousness of God, which is composed basically of Nirananda and divine love. And then our human existence comes to an end, in the sense that we are merging back into the ocean of God, which is, as said, made out of love. And Sahaja Yoga has been designed in such a way that this connection between yogis and friends has a nature and a quality to trigger that experience very much in multifold ways of being together. It's not a relationship between ordinary people. It's not even a relationship as it exists in a family. It's a relationship of a very high dimension, which, without our knowing, just because of divine will, it happens that we inspire each other, and the whole creation, as it is the vision of Sri Mataji, as it was the vision of Sri Mataji, comes to its fruition. And so we can really understand, as simple human beings, how much the divine has the expectation of us to fulfill its own vision. So it is an interaction between us and God, which is very mysterious and which is beyond our understanding. But to float in that ocean, I would say, is a blessing which is very high, and that's what we want to share here with this simple meditation. Of course, we can go deeper here, and there will be many other programs coming, and they will lead even deeper. So,
Okay.
so far.
Right. Thank you, Ingrid. I feel very balanced and peaceful now. Maybe it's a good moment to, we prepared a 3-minute video of Srimataji where she speaks about this topic as well. So we get the first-hand teachings. Just let me start that here. Okay, so.
Now, in the medical science, which I have done myself, there's only one type of human being. They do not separate one from another. But in everyday life, we see we are so different from each other. So there are 3 types of people actually. One of them are the ones who are futuristic, another are the ones who live in the past, and the others who are in the center. And they have 3 types of combinations then, that permutations and combinations work out with this. Mainly, we should say 9 type of people. But then there can be even greater permutations and combinations depending on the kinds of people they meet, the kinds of people they admire or live with or dominated with or dominate. So we have very complicated human beings in this world. Doesn't matter. But they can be brought down to the simple thing as left, right and center. If you can bring them down and classify them to these 3 things, it's very easy to treat them. Because if somebody is a right-sided person, he'll have certain symptoms. He'll be hot-tempered fellow, he'll have a liver trouble. He'll be thin, he'll be shouting all the time on top of his voice. He may be good outside, but in his family he would be very hot-tempered. He may be a person who is egoistical, but maybe that he will look very humble because he has to deal with people, and maybe that he will be very, very aggressive to such a point that he might become sadistic. Now the another type are the other ones who want always to run away, escape. They could be not people who will be grossly aggressive, but will be very sly and will be trying all tricks and playing games and intrigues and all sorts of things. And also they will be living with their past, this type of people. Now there are people who are in the center. The people who are moderate, who take life pleasantly, not bothered so much about life's complications, but keep above it. And they lead a very normal life. They do not indulge into any nonsensical thing. These are the central type of people, and that's why all the religions came on this earth to establish that balance within. Religions, all of them, came on this earth to establish that balance. Why the balance? Again, the question can come. Why the balance? The balance is for our ultimate ascent. For example, if you have to take an aeroplane, ascend it, you have to first see if it is balanced or not. Otherwise it will be not floating horizontally, but it might go one-sided, you see. So one has to have a balance in life. But if you read yourself, if you face yourself, you will understand that no, we are not so much balanced as we should have been. So this balance has to be brought in human beings, and that's why we had great prophets on this earth to teach us the balance.
Okay, so I'd like to follow on this with, or Engelbert, maybe you have some comments to add to that.
No, the only thing is always after a meditation, you know, to see and hear Sri Mataji is always the final, I would say, fulfillment.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to end.
Good, yeah. So then, in the first session I mentioned I'm a project and process manager in a still company, but I also worked as a teacher previously, so I have to give you homework. And try and meditate at home, give it a try. In the first session we mentioned that the first technique of meditation is desire, as Engelbert also mentioned. If you want to go deeper in yourself, if you want to have the silence in your mind, that desire will help trigger that experience. And whatever you feel in these sessions, if you desire to deepen that, that will be quite effective. And the second simple technique is to bring your attention upwards towards the crown of your head. That is where our connection is of the center channel. So that we mentioned, and we said it does help to use Srimataji's picture because it does emanate that force that triggers the raising of the Kundalini. So that's the foundation. But if we want to have a practical exercise for the balance today, I would suggest you can do 3 simple little movements. One could be, and this works very well if you sit on the earth, but it also works on a floor like here. You simply put both hands on the earth, on the Mother Earth, and just desire or even request the earth to absorb any burdens, any tensions, any excess heat from my subtle system into the earth. The elements are very active to help us. And the energy centers, as we will learn in the next sessions, are made of elements. And if for 1-2 minutes you keep the hand there until you feel a bit calmer, relaxed, you can try a second simple technique, which Soma showed. You put the left hand on the lap and keep the right hand to the earth. And keep that for 1 or 2 minutes, however you feel good about it. And let any tension or blockage or heat from the left side of the body be absorbed into the earth. So that helps clear the left channel. And the third simple movement would be to put the right hand now on the lap and the left hand, as I showed before, to the sky pointing backwards. And using the element air to cool down the right side, just as an engine is cooled by the air flowing through it. And however long you feel. And if you feel one of these helps you more, you can do just a single one. There is no fixed rule. Inside yoga, it's a very experimental and personal thing, how you decide to explore. So that can help you get the balance in your system, and then you can meditate. And remember, the essence of meditation is when the thoughts stop, meditation starts. And it's when meditation starts that you touch your true self, which is the source of pure bliss and love. So I think with that we can close the session.
Yeah, so just one little thing that about foot soak. I think you got homework last time about foot soak, and I hope that you did it and you felt relaxed. Actually, foot soaking is highly effective because it is an energy detox, and it takes away all the whatever is accumulating in our left and right channel and center channel. It goes away and it relaxes you and it helps you to unwind for the day. Yeah, so please do foot soak and enjoy the meditation.
Okay, so that's a lot of homework, but it's all good for us. Right. Okay, thank you so much, Engelbert, for coming.
Well, thank you.
Right?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
very
and-
Yeah, thank you.
pleasant,
Engelbert.
yes, but we are all good old friends. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I personally also, on behalf of all of us, we thank the Indian Embassy of Vienna again for giving us the opportunity to do the program. And Hans will say something about the Facebook side.
Yeah, please check the Facebook side of the Indian Embassy. We will post a couple of links on it. Once we have the recording of this, we'll post the link to the YouTube recording. And we'll also post the link to the blog we have, where you can follow up on some additional information and previous recordings, all on one little WordPress website.
Okay. So next week's topic will be on the first chakra, that is the Muladhara chakra, and it has the special capacity to remove our obstacles. So hoping to see you next time again, and then bye for now and see you next week.
Okay.
Yeah. Namaste.
Namaste. Bye bye,
Namaste.
everybody.
Bye bye.